Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Des. Thank you, Amy. Awesome worship. I came here today with nothing, and trusting that the Lord's going to lead the way, and that He has. That was an awesome word from you, Des, this morning about the heart and about our thoughts. And that's actually what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about something briefly this morning. It's something I've learned very painfully at times, but I want to share it with you because it's been very powerful for me. Des was right on the money what he said about thoughts and about how they impact the heart. The enemy can't impact the heart directly, but he can do so through your mind, right? Who was it? Was it Joyce Meyer? A lot of people have said it, that the battlefield is the mind, right? It's the thoughts on the battlefield of your mind they are what counts. But what they are fighting for is your heart. All right? The battlefield is the mind, but it's all about your heart. Right? Now, one thing I've learned is that the enemy doesn't just attack your heart for the sake of it, just to bring you down, just to give you a bad day. You see, the thing is, he attacks your heart with very certain thoughts, very particular and specific thoughts designed to turn your heart against God. Okay? It's not just to give you a bad day. It's not just to bring you down. It's to turn your heart against God. And why is that? Because your heart is the gateway to God. Alright? Your heart is the gateway to the kingdom of heaven. So if the enemy can get your heart to turn away from that, then he can stop you and prevent you from hearing clearly, from seeing clearly, and from receiving clearly. That's why, I've heard this term a few times. I don't know where it came from. Stinking thinking. Right? Bad thoughts. Bad thoughts. They are so bad for your heart. They turn your heart away from God. So when you're sick or when you need something and you think, oh my goodness, God's not going to help me, what am I going to do? Am I going to get sick? Am I going to end up in hospital? Right? You start doubting God. And then once the doubts kick in, then the fear comes in. Then you start panicking. Right? And when you're in that stage, you start being fearful and panicky, your heart's fully turned against God because it doesn't believe God's going to come in and help. It's not going to come through for you, right? And at that point, we reach out to others to pray for us because they usually have the faith that can come through for us. But the point is, we don't want to get to that point. And that's how the enemy gets you, by introducing these thoughts. And then, of course, communion. Wonderful, So if I come and talk to any one of you, I can talk to you directly because there's nothing between us. I could be having the best possible day or not. I could be having the worst possible day. But I can still talk to you, right? But that's not how it is with God. Your heart stands between you and God. Because when God talks to you, He doesn't talk to you. He talks to your heart, right? And then you hear it through the heart, right? Your heart stands between you and God. So it's very important that when you connect with the Lord, that your heart is properly positioned. And for your heart to be properly positioned, you can't allow it to have been infected by stinking thinking. Alright? Fear, anything fear-related, anything that's doubtful, anything that's unbelieving, alright, is going to turn your heart away from God. Alright? So for a long time I used to come here, like particularly on Wednesdays, we used to have soaking. And you soak and then you hear from the Lord. And I didn't hear anything for a long time, and I never knew why. Although I wanted to hear from Him, I couldn't because my heart was turned away from Him, and I didn't know that. So all I got was silence, and it mystified me. I didn't know why. But what I've come to learn is that it's possible to turn your heart around, position it correctly, and once it's properly positioned, you can hear more clearly. You can receive more. You can see more. Okay? That's what I want to do with you guys today. I don't want to launch into a great teaching, but I want to run through an exercise with you all. We've talked about the heart many times, and the importance of trusting the Lord, because what trust does is it opens the heart to the Lord. Let's take it a step further. How do you trust Him? One of the ways the heart can trust the Lord is through gratitude. Gratitude. When you are grateful to Him for what He's done and for who He is, what He's done for you personally, what He's told you, what He's led you through, when you can get into that place of gratitude, your heart begins to trust Him. Your heart begins to open up to Him. And when your heart's positioned that way, you can receive from Him, you can hear from Him. Alright? The same way. Remember the word. Okay, I came here unprepared, so I don't have the scriptures with me, I apologize. But the word always keeps saying, remember, remember, remember. The feasts, right? Passover. They celebrate Passover every year so they can remember what the Lord has done for them. When you remember what the Lord has done for you, it affects your heart. It positions the heart. When your heart is well positioned, you can receive, you can hear. So this is what I'll challenge you guys. We're going to do this today. Assuming you want to, of course. But anytime you want to engage with the Lord, anytime you pray, anytime you meditate, anytime you do anything at all, spend some time beforehand positioning your heart. Just think about everything He's done for you. Think about what He's delivered you from. Think about everything He's provided you with, everything He's taught you. When you position your heart correctly, you'll then be in a position to engage Him effectively. Okay? That's what I'm going to ask you guys to do today. So, we know the river's flowing. We've spoken about the river many times. And the river being the very presence of God. Some of us flow very powerfully and effectively with the river. Some of us not so much. And I put it down to this, that it depends on the state of your heart. If your heart is open to Him, you'll flow powerfully in that river. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're a prophet or not, whether you're high up in the kingdom or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is the state of your heart. Okay? God will deal with you powerfully if your heart is simply open to Him. That's it. Okay? So what I'd like to do today, let's take, 5 to 10 minutes, right? And I want to ask you guys, spend that time reflecting on who He is and what He's done for you. Develop that gratitude. It might not even come naturally, but develop that gratitude. Right? When you think about what He's done for you and you remember what He's done for you, the gratitude is going to come naturally. You don't have to force it. Right? Just remember what He's done for you. Remember the price He's paid for you. Remember where you are. Remember what He's brought you into. Remember as much as you can. Gratitude is going to come naturally, and as the gratitude comes, your heart's going to turn to Him and face Him. It's going to open up to Him. Alright? And once we're in that position, then we're going to spend about 20 minutes flowing in the river. 20 minutes in which you go up to Him and you say, Lord, what do you want to tell me? Alright? What do you want to tell the upper room? Alright? The point of this is to open up so that we can hear more. Okay? Yes, Grace. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I just want to finish off with a couple of, just with a quick summary. What you think directly affects the state of your heart. And the state of your heart directly affects your relationship with God, your intimacy with Him, your connection to Him. So if I put that in a different way, your thinking directly affects your relationship with Him. What we often do, and I made this mistake for a long time, I thought it's irrelevant what I'm thinking. Okay, if I'm going to have a conversation with Brett, it doesn't matter what I'm thinking. I'm going to have that conversation anyway. But it's not like that with God. All right, your thinking directly affects that relationship with Him, so it's very important that we get a handle on it. And the enemy's going to invest a lot of time to disrupt that thinking, to turn your heart against the Lord. But you can bring it back at any time by remembering what the Lord has done, and by adopting an attitude of gratitude. All right? And during that quiet time, I had an opportunity to find some scriptures, all right, to support what I've said. So in Psalm 77, David says, "And I said, this is my anguish." All right, David's in a state of anguish. Anguish is dangerous because anguish is a time that invites terrible thinking, fear, doubt, unbelief. All right, "This is my anguish, but I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember your wonders of old. I will also meditate on all your work and talk of your deeds." It's so important to remember who He is, especially at difficult times. All right. Here's another quick verse from Thessalonians. "Rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and in everything give thanks." All right, give thanks. It's not just words, guys. It's not just words. When you give thanks, you do it from the heart. You do it from a grateful heart. A grateful heart is a powerful thing, more powerful than we realize. Here's another one from Philippians 4. "Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving." All right? Let your requests be made known to God. And last one for today, again to support the idea that positive, good thinking is necessary, is from Philippians 4. "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." The importance of a positive mind, good thinking. All right, so thank you. I'm going to leave you with that. But remember, this is not a one-time thing. I encourage you to adopt this as a practice. Anytime you want to engage with the Lord, sit down with Him, pray, whatever it is you want to do. Adopt the right attitude. Come to Him with a grateful heart, and you'll find that it makes a tremendous difference.